So I wish you all this wonderful conversation, uh, learning process for all of us, including myself, all the students. And Ravi has done a great job in terms of bringing students and startups and different stakeholders from the community to talk about innovation, entrepreneurship. As you know that in HCC, our mission is to prepare students for with the skills in entrepreneurship. And one of the key driver for entrepreneurship is innovation, right? That requires critical thinking, thinking outside the box, uh, communicate your ideas, think about how to convert your ideas into commercial value, which is actually innovation, right? Creativity to innovation. So at SCC, that's our prime goal. And there are multiple ways we serve this mission. We have innovation fellows, faculty members who serve certain period of time. They complete some projects in innovation. We have we are running some projects in interior design program, for example, in collaboration with our West Houston Institute. I hope you all know what is West Houston Institute. And students are running some enterprising projects in collaboration with corporate sector companies. They learn how to build different products, how to commercialize products, how to market products, how to test the usability of the product, all kind of things. And they try to sell their product to prospective employers. A good thing is, as an outcome of this project, many students will receive job offers from companies in Houston. So our next portfolio show is forthcoming, the interior design. I encourage your participation in the portfolio show. You can see how we enrich, cultivate innovation among students, and you can see that innovation in their product and services. So again, thanks for coming, and thanks for joining hands for this critical aspect of Houston Community College, which means growing entrepreneurship spirit among the students. Thank you. Yes.
So we're really using this technology not only to educate the student, but as ways that we can engage with our industry and promote what our students are doing. And the first time we did it, everyone was slightly scared. And now students are saying, wait, do I only have one skybox? Can I have multiple? I've got 12 projects that I want to show. And we're really proud of the work they're doing. And thankfully, we have a place like the Reality Code Lab to work with. So I could talk all day about this, but I also know Cheryl has to talk. But are there any questions I can answer?
For professionals to hire your students.
Correct.
Have you seen traction there? Or?
Oh, yes. So a lot of the students, we emphasize networking in our program. And during the last year of the program, we even offer extra credit for students to attend industry events. And so by the time they're in their graduating class, which is the portfolio class, they have made a lot of their own contacts. They're also required to have at least 3 professional social media networking sites. So they'll be able to, they send out their links to the spatial show through their LinkedIn, through their Facebook accounts. And we've got people that come to the portfolio show virtually, employers that can preview their work before they come. And then when they're at the portfolio show, which runs all day, 11 to 4 is for interview. Employers can come and say, oh, I'm looking for these 3 students, and then see their work in person. And the portfolio show is where most of our students get their very first job offer. Now, with the use of our technology, we find that half of our graduates have job offers before the portfolio show actually happens. So this has been a fantastic tool. And because Spatial can collect data, we can know how many people visit the show. We see how many people are in it. And on the second part, our students spend so much time in school and we have so many students that are international. This allows them to share their work with friends and families. Well, thank you guys.
I saw that, but now you are on Spatial. So what's the underlying software and how do you integrate that on Spatial?
Spatial is the platform.
Okay, so you use Spatial.
It is, and we've, as Ruben mentioned, our digital twin. The digital twin that we've created utilizing Spatial actually came from a floor plan drafted of our department that we worked with a student to model in SketchUp, and then moved it into Spatial. And now we're adding faculty avatars, examples of student work. I can't wait to show that to you guys when it's all finished later this semester. So it's an amazing platform. We've also expanded to offering courses designed around metaverse design. A lot of the environments that you see as you're browsing stores or retail environments, if you see any of them with interior virtual reality spaces, a lot of them are designed by computer people, not architects and designers. So we feel that there is this emerging market where we can take interior designers and architects that have the design skills, but then provide them with the metaverse skills to create something that really is a 21st century skill that other students want to have. So we're excited about that.
That's amazing.
What do you think? Let me just say something about what you were saying. One of the things that's exciting what's happening is I think with the help of our faculty, we have been very successfully accommodating the tools that they use in the classroom. So the twin is actually created with a software that is actually what they teach. And so if the workflow involves what they're learning already, they don't need to learn a special 3D software. If the workflow involves that, then the students feel like, well, this is an extension of. But who better to design the interiors of these metaverse spaces than interior designers? They've been designing these interiors forever, right? And so once you think of thinking in that way, then incorporating also AI with it. Like in that particular class, all the tools are creating this kind of office. They're creating it using an AI tool. So the twin has actually went to this AI and type information to represent a little bit closer to what that, and in terms of that particular building is on. And they were able to do that. Jackie was able to do that in 50 seconds. Then once you look outside the building, it looks like that building there and the outside. And that was clearly using that too. So those front floors are very important to storytelling.
You're not going to do all that. Good morning, everybody. My name is Cheryl Whitaker. I'm the Fashion Merchandising Program Coordinator here, as well as faculty. You might be wondering, so fashion, metaverse, what's that about? So I'll give you a little bit of a history of how we got started. Everybody knows you start with Ruben, and then you kind of build out from there, because we'll brainstorm with Ruben all the time. So during the pandemic, we were trying to figure out how do you show fashion if you don't have an audience. And so we were brainstorming and we were thinking, okay, how can technology solve that problem for us? So here at school, we have a design program as well. I'm merchandising. But our design students have 2 semesters to create a collection. And then in the spring, my promotion students produce a fashion show. But what do you do on a fashion show when no one can attend? You use the metaverse, right? So initially, how we got started was we decided to create a metaverse space and then host a fashion show in there. My students initially had the luxury of learning, and I say luxury because this wasn't a part of our original plan. We thought we would produce a traditional fashion show. It's a big thing because of COVID. So what we ended up doing, because we wanted to do something for those students who had worked so hard, my students then learned how to scan garments. We scanned each piece of a collection, converted it to a 3D object, and placed it in a metaverse space. That was our initial entry into this whole metaverse thing. Those students, nothing beats a live in-person fashion show. But our students are international students, and so they were able to send a link to that metaverse space and their families from around the world can celebrate their victories, right? We had people from Denmark, Spain, all entering our space to see what our students have done. Now, I'll fast forward a little bit. Currently today, I'm using the metaverse to teach my visual merchandising class. Retail, fashion in general, has had to come over to technology. It's been a fight, but they finally got here. Because for us in retail and for fashion in general, the disruptors of this current existence are your Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They're not going to the mall. They're not shopping the way that we traditionally shop. They're in chat groups. They're in gaming situations. And so for that, retailers have had to join them in the gaming situation. If you're talking about your Roblox, what are some other gaming areas? Fortnite. If you go out there now, you'll see Burberry, you'll see Gucci. You see all of your brands getting into these metaverse spaces. So what better than to teach my visual merchandising class how to create 3D stores? The purpose of that is, in general, when you have a
retail space. Space in the
Let's Patrick, my genius person here.
And not just about improvements. Students also learn to manage budget. Ensuring their design are economically sound
So-
and they're visually appealing. So step into our mock retail space where we're not just teaching fashion.
So one of the things what we do, I'm fascinated by her quick. So I teach our visual merchandising class, we use a tool called MockShop. And MockShop is an industry-specific software where you create 3D mock-up of retail stores. Now, what students get out of this is they learn how to do planograms, they learn how to do store planning, they learn about inventory management while creating a storefront. They learn the whole purpose of why you have to have fixtures 3 feet apart to represent ADA requirements. They learn all the functionality of how visual merchandisers are actually the silent salespeople of the store. If you don't set up the environment correctly, are you going to make money? Are you going to have folks coming in? They learn all the important steps in retail. When we all go to the store, we just go in and we smell good, right? It's the pretty things. It's when you're creating a window display, you really have 30 seconds to grab someone's attention. And so students learn all of this technology by using a 3D tool called MockShop. It also gives them a new skill set. They also learn about 3D technology. They learn about, because what we can do here is, and this is just an example, I call Sketchfab my Sketchfab of fame. If my students do a really good job on their final projects, they land here. And then if they do exceptionally well, they land in Hall of Fame, which if you'll bring that one out. Each one of these stores you see one of my students created. When they get to this level, they are able to customize all their fixtures. They pull in all the inventory. And they learn how to sort through this application. Because if you're in retail, you have to be able to pick the right products based on the consumer demographic, or else you don't make any money, right? Fashion is a $3.2 trillion industry last I checked. And everybody around the world, unless you're in a remote location, everybody has to wear clothes. So for our students, what they learn the technology. They learn about consumer demographics because consumer spending, different generations, we all shop different, right? So we learned that, they're able to learn that, they're able to create spaces based on whatever generation that they are trying to attract in their store, and then we place it in spatial. And so, I'm sorry.
Sure.
So I actually experienced now, and one of the things that we used to do is like look at like points of entry, where are people staying, and do they learn those kinds of things with this technology as well?
They do. One of the things when you go into a mall, you just think all the pretty stores. It's all very strategic.
Oh, absolutely.
If it's, for example, I used to work in retail in Chicago. When you have a luxury brand, luxury brands have what's called 2 points of distribution. So if Nordstrom is selling Celine and then Saks is selling Celine and then Celine opens a store in the mall, Nordstrom is going to lose it. Because if you're keeping luxury exclusive, you have to navigate and understand how that works. And so these are some of the things we teach students, but we're also teaching them how to select items. And this is our first project when we're training them. They have to recreate the HCC bookstore. And so that means they have to go to the bookstore website, pull in all the products that they want to sell, and then set up the displays and select the features, the fixtures. I also incorporate generative AI, the imagery you see on the walls around this, my HCC virtual merchandising mall, all created by generative AI. So in my classes, one of the things that all of our students, as well as interior design, you have to learn how to develop a concept. That's part of the whole process. That's where you start. And so for some students, it's like, well, what do you want me to, where do I start? And so if we can do brainstorming sessions where we're using words, those words can become prompts in generative AI, and then you can have an image of what you might think you're trying to get to. We use Midjourney, that's my favorite. But for group projects, we can literally have the classroom, normally old school way, you go to the classroom board, everybody throw out a word, you're brainstorming, you're doing the circle, and you're moving from there. But you don't have a visual image from that. With Midjourney, we can brainstorm typing in all these words that are prompts, and you're faced with an image. Can you show one of the images on the board, on the wall?
Do you see what you see?
Yeah, that's fine. So we might have brainstormed and added in a lot of prompts to create that image. Because the one thing we're trying to do is tell some type of story, develop some type of content. And our students are visual learners, and that's one of the things that generative AI does for us. Currently, in one of my fashion promotion class, we're about to produce a spring fashion show. Part of that lesson is you have to develop a theme for the show. We're looking at trend reports and we're seeing, we just did this week, we're seeing a trend towards romance and flowers and things like that, but if you don't want to be literal, how do you come up with that? How do you do that? Because we're trying to teach our students to come up with ideas. So we plug it into generative AI and we get imagery, and then they can then take that imagery and create something and plan a show and develop a theme and an idea. Anybody have questions?
I mean, I'm an AI instructor. And I'm like, why aren't we working I mean, that's amazing what you guys are doing here. And like yesterday, I had 5 meetings. And 3 of the 5 were about how can we use AI in the classroom to teach students?
The beauty of AI, I love the imagery one. Our students are visual. And this generation of students, not talking about y'all. This generation of students, they're not like my generation. I'm booming. So we had pen and paper. We came to class with books. This generation comes with their phone. And so they're not, my generation, we were proud to have a whole set of encyclopedia. They have Google. And so for that, they also are so visual that they need to see an image or some idea of what this might look like. And so we use generative AI for that purpose. Because you can say, oh, flowers, but what does that look like for a show? And you don't want it to be, can't quote that line from The Devil Wears Prada where she said, spring, flowers, how original. But what does an abstract representation of that look like? And so with generative AI, we can plug in prompts and they can visually see it immediately. From there, they can expand on that idea and that concept. And next week, they have to give me a theme, a show name.
been 19 years in New York fashion
Oh, nice.
So one of the one of the things that fashion students have learned is it's not just about pretty dolls and pretty displays. It's also about making money. And so, do you all teach like this is where you place for volume, this is where you place for margin, all those kinds? So, is this like if I looked at this particular store, would I be able to tell based on AI and predictive analysis how much money you should be able to make in a singular day based on what your placement of your products are, volume, margin, people coming through?
So the application we use does allow for that. Now, we don't do it at that advanced level at the community college, but we do touch on it. Because, one thing about it, I tell my students all the time, fashion is real pretty on the outside, but it's down and dirty on the inside. It's about the details. And one of the skills, one of the most needed skill sets you can have is being proficient in Excel spreadsheets. Because it's all about numbers, right? At the end of the day, we paint a pretty picture on the outside, but what did you sell? And so what this application does at the advanced stage, if they were in a real world environment, even from me, I worked at Nordstrom for a few years. I'll come in the next day. What was selling? Oh, a skirt. What color was selling? Or in that skirt range. These are things that they learn about because if you're going to work in this industry, you have to be aware of what women or men or whomever. What are you buying today? What's your when you came in today? What did we sell in the store? Did we sell yellow? Did we sell more bottoms than tops? And so these are things we talk about when they're building these stores, because another part of it, they pick all the items. And if most people don't realize when you go to a department store and you go to a rack, if no one ever helps you, if the visual merchandising team did their job, you should be able to create a whole outfit without ever being approached. That's thanks to a visual merchandiser. Now, if my students don't know, you think it just kind of happens, but no, that's a visual merchandiser that makes it happen. And that's one of the things they learn because, again, you have less than a minute to grab somebody's attention. And then if we add in the technology, at this point, fashion students, no matter if you're on the merchandising side, which is the business side, or the design side, you have to know technology. You won't make it into this next phase of fashion if you don't have technology behind you. Specifically, you're not in the metaverse. Again, all of the Gen Z and Gen Alphas of the world, they're not going to the mall. Right? They want to go into online spaces with their headsets and chat groups. And oh, by the way, I'll pop over tonight, metaverse, and buy some sneakers. And maybe I'll go over to Tommy Hilfiger, Gucci, or Balenciaga.
All right, Dr. Tan, whenever you get a chance, please let that group know we're already in 1112.
Normally it is, but this generation is just disruptor. And then I'll say this and I'll stop talking because I'm like, yes, I could talk about this all day. The fashion industry is one of the dirtiest, most polluting industries. And so they've been forced to change because fashion overproduces, and that overproduction ends up in a landfill. And so technology is helping them clean up their act. On our design side, we now incorporated a tool called Flow 3D, which our students are learning to design flows. And in that one application, you can design and fit dangerous patterns, alter patterns, such that you don't have to create 500 samples to perfect your pattern. You can do it all in the application. And then you can send that off to the production facility overseas and have your garments produced. And you can animate it. You can animate the garment and put it into one of these 3D spaces as well. So that if you're a designer and if you're working for yourself, you're a designer, you can also set up a 3D showroom and place your 3D garments that you design in the space. And so that's the thing. What Patrick is showing you currently is we're working on a project together. Patrick and Harris are my geniuses in my project ideas. And so what we're doing here is we're setting up a space to teach visual merchandising classes in the metaverse through the actual experience of what it takes to be on a visual team, the processes that you go through, the process of selecting fixtures, and all the details that go with visual merchandising and retail. Any questions?
Well, thank you, Sasa. And I don't know how we're doing with time, but I know it's past 9.
It's
we do want to thank Sasa for sure. Carol, Danielle, I know this was a lot of extra time for you for this conversation, so thank you for putting your time, and we're really glad to be able to share this with you. We're very excited about this technology. It's not just because it's technology, it's just that our response has been that from middle schoolers all the way to some of the students my age, pretty much everybody's actually embracing it and engaging with it in pretty much any other form. It doesn't matter whether the student is actually a student that has some sort of disabilities. We are engaging everybody, and everybody seems to be responding in a way that is actually mind-boggling to us. Because yesterday we're having this conversation with an actor. He actually came to see students that came to the lab on their time. This is test of time from the class when they call it. And they are designing all the sets of dots for the AC system of that building first. And they were doing this by walking to the building, going to the power plant, and so on and so forth. Now they're doing all this in my computer, and they're able to actually organize and measure and know how much flow of air is going to that by using what we call digital twin technologies. And so it's really, and then you would say the students are construction management in the construction management part of our curriculums. And you will, of course, our minds, I happen to have our minds like this myself. And sometimes we think, well, how do we structure this? Because perhaps they have not been exposed. And then you give them a day, and then the next thing you know, they're doing all these wonderful things. And then you review how much. Because then you see, oh, yeah, anyone. So thank you everyone. Where would we sit on the
Take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Siddiqui. Good morning, colleagues and friends. My name is Niti. I coordinate the National Affairs for Youth and Community College. A couple of data points for you to understand that why international students and what is it for the United States. All right. In the last 20 years, the economic boom for international students and scholars averaging about $38 billion yearly for the US economy. That's a revenue for the country, but there is a bigger impact that these students and scholars that move around, what we call global mobility. In that mobility, every company, every thinkers, every company, every country is looking for one important thing called nation building. To build a nation, what do you really need? Talent. So that's what everybody is looking for. When I talk to my colleague in Microsoft, they have 500,000 international student and scholar in their employment force. So think about it, just Microsoft. What about Google? What about, don't worry about these big name companies. What about mom and pop companies who are very innovators like you, individuals who are here as an entrepreneurs? How do you see in making this possible? Where do you look for talents? So that's the impact that we in HCC try to contribute to the global scale. And in front of me, I have two brilliant scholars, Sharon and Saima. They are from different parts of the world. I want them to introduce themselves and share with you who they are. And they will tell you what is the global mindset we are exploring together. A global mindset doesn't have to be somewhere in the world. It should be somewhere local. And that's the theme that I always use called globalization. You take the global mindset into the local economy. That's what we will prosper together. With that said, welcome each one of you. I'd like to share the panelists, Sharon and Saima. Sharon, please tell me where you're from and how did you came to Houston Community College? Somewhere in the planet, correct? Somewhere in the external. So go ahead. Sure.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sharon Burinyo Ipunjem, and I come from Cameroon, which is West Africa. How I came to HCC? So I finished my advanced level certificate education in Cameroon, and I wanted to study aerospace engineering, which is a program which, apart from like many females don't go into, my country doesn't offer it as a field of study. So I started looking for schools abroad with my mom and everything. We were mostly focused on like 4-year universities. So I applied to 4-year universities. I got in, but it was so expensive. And we had to be like, oh, no, maybe we should start from a community college. And she was like, I found this community college, Houston Community College. It's very diverse. It's found in Texas. The weather is good. And the diversity is really like, it's really big. So she was like, maybe we should try this out. And that's how I found myself here. Thank you.
How about you, Saima?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sayma Saeed Al-Khadairi. I'm from Libya. And how I came to HCC is that, so before coming here, I used to live in Turkey. I was also an international student there. I finished high school there. And the reason why I chose to come to HCC is that my brother also, like, he went to HCC, and from here he transferred to Texas A&M. And I've seen what he does. Like right now he's a quality engineer, and I've seen how like HCC has helped him like advance and also like learn more things, because he was also in the honors college. And so I decided that I want to take this path and chose to come to HCC because they had many opportunities. And yeah, that's the reason why I chose to come to HCC.
Thank you, Sharon and Saima. So they came from Libya and Cameroon. All right, that's two different parts of the continent. One in Northern Africa and one in Central Africa. And now I'm curious to find out what are you discovering in Houston Community College inside and outside the classroom? How is it HEC is preparing you?
Oh, that's a big one. I've learned a lot in the classrooms. HCC has given me room for a lot of explorations through their clubs and groups and student life groups in short. So inside the classroom, I'll say I've learned teamwork, because I wasn't really good working in a group. I always liked to get my stuff done because I felt like when I'm with other people, they kind of draw me back instead. But then with HCC, I learned like you have to understand everybody's not the same. You take everybody along. You have to work in a group. And I also learned time management, which is something I struggled with, like to be able to balance my school life and my life outside of school. Like it's not only about school. You have to find that balance to be able to do your assignments and still have fun, still maintain friendships out of class and everything. Out of the classroom, with the groups in, like the Honors College, International Student Ambassadors, the Student Government Association, it has helped me so much in my communication skills. Like before, I can't just go up to anybody and talk, but now, like with all these roles, I'm able to like walk up to students, talk to them freely, and don't care like what they say about me. I'm just like, okay, let me deliver the message. I'm able to communicate more, and I'm also I was able to acquire this sense of culture and diversity. Like everybody in America is from somewhere else. Like it's so diverse. I feel like I've met people from all over the world. So I'm more aware of my surrounding and the culture around me.
Thank you, Sharon. How about you, Simon? Can you all hear the back? Oh, thank you.
So for me, in the classroom, I feel like I've learned how to be. So my high school was like a very small high school. So our classroom was like, there will be like a few students, like 6 students, 7 students. So for me, even though the classroom in HCC is still a small classroom, like there aren't many students, for me it was like, it's still more. Like I wasn't used to that. So I feel like I've learned how to like communicate with like form like study groups with students, like because I feel like here if I don't like take the initiative to communicate with the students in the class, I won't be able to have connections with them. So I feel like that's what I've learned in the classroom. And outside of the classroom, I feel like from all the organizations that I've joined, like the International Student Ambassadors, the Student Government Association at Central Campus, I'm the vice president, and the Faculty Campus Society, as well as like all the other clubs that are here. I feel like I've learned a lot, especially at SJA and the Phi Theta Kappa, because we go to like conferences that are like outside of Houston, and we meet with students from other community colleges. I feel like that really helped me like see more about like what other students in other community colleges are doing, what they're learning, how like what are their goals and things like that. I feel this is and it also like helped me grow my leadership skills, also communication skills, like opportunities like this one right now, like I get to speak here. I feel like I really enjoy all of these. I didn't get the chance to do that before joining HCC.
Great. So another important thing though, they are from a community college. And people might not know the power of the community college. The only unique American enterprise exists in the world. Why? There is no other country in the world can create a similar model like the US community college. And the power is a credit earned from Houston Community College can be globally transferable. You can go anywhere in the US or you can go anywhere around the world with a credit earned. I know Sharon is pursuing mechanical engineering. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
And Saima is pursuing environmental engineering. So whatever degree, the associate degree they earn, they can transfer not only within the US, but also globally transferable. You know why? We have the same accreditation that UT Austin or A&M or UH receives. And that's the power. So the talent acquired, the knowledge acquired from HEC is global. So I'm curious now, I know I worked with them very closely on many events. They're bright, brilliant scholars. I don't want to say student anymore. I want to know now you are environmental science and mechanics. Where are you going to go from here? What does HEC have done for you to move from the next phase of your journey? Where are you going to go from here?
Okay. From okay, let me go. From HCC, I feel like because before I moved here, this was like my first time moving out of home. I was so scared leaving my parents. I was like, I don't think I want to do this. But since I got here, the environment, the community, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad of a choice. And I'm like, I think I can move. I can live like anywhere in the United States. So when I was applying to schools, I was applying like everywhere. I'm actually currently applying everywhere. But the school that spoke out to me the most is Minnesota State University, because I got accepted into the Iron Range Engineering Program, which is a program that will allow me to graduate as a mechanical engineer in 2.5 years with 2 years of experience as an engineer, despite being an international student. So I have like in-state tuition, and they allow me to gain work experience either through internship or through a paid job. They said they'll arrange and I can get the job anywhere in the United States, and they'll make my classes hybrid. So I was like, I'll go to Minnesota State University to pursue the Iron Range Engineering Program.
I didn't tell her that's my alma mater. That's the school I graduated from. Small world about it. That's where I graduated from, and they offered me a job to work in an institution. And it's a small world.
Wow.
I didn't even know that's the school I came from. How about you, Saima?
So for me, I have already gotten admitted at U of H. So that's where I'm planning on going from here. And the reason why I chose U of H is because I've seen like I'm interested in the energy field, and I've seen that they have some research that they do on that. So I'm like looking forward to like trying to join these like programs, and this is the reason why I chose U of H.
Great. Before I ask to wrap this part, I'd like to know whether the audience have any questions for our scholars. You can ask them any question. No question? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Have something lined up for you to finish study, to continue your journey in America?
Yes,
Can you repeat the question?
okay.
Something lined up after you finish from here.
He was saying to hear you first.
Oh,
I think you were.
no, it's okay.
Okay. Yes, as I was saying, like from HCC, I'll go to Minnesota State University and I'll be in the Iron Range Engineering Program. That's what's taking me to that university, which will allow me to graduate with 2 years experience already as an engineer. So despite being an international student, I'll be able to still work in my field of studies while going to school. So, yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And I know you had a question.
Good. I was just thinking, because I'm not familiar with the community college kind of like pathway. So what made you decide to kind of take this pathway instead of like just traditionally just move to like the university?
Do you want to show?
Sure.
Okay.
So for me, is that there are many factors. For me, like joining a community college, I feel like since it's like a small community, I have a higher chance of joining like many organizations as I have already done. And also like there are like also the financial factor was it's like you pay like I am in the honors college, so I get like a full scholarship for like all my classes. I don't have to pay for that. So these are the factors that I took into consideration when I decided to take this class.
Okay, for me, it was, I feel like if I was going to a 4-year university, it will mostly be for the diversity, but I have that already at HCC. Like HCC is so diverse. On top of it, it's cheap. On top of it, the class sizes are small. I can easily communicate with my professors whenever I need them, or the staff, whenever I need them, they are always available. So I was like, I really want that connection. Whereas I don't think I'll get that in a 4-year college, which is with a lot of students. And
let me expand the question though, because I used to be the spokesperson for the State Department, the community college model global. So if you look at the US community college, it's a very powerful pathway for anybody. You're open and set. You know, think back, the existence of the community college started in 1903. That's the first journey it started from. So the pathway was open to anybody. You know, if you look at globally, if you go to just say India, or you go to Singapore, or you go to France, after high school, you pretty much have to decide. That's the track you have to go. You can't revert back. And that's the uniqueness of the US higher education. I think you even pursue a bachelor's degree, the first 2 years, you're pretty much doing a lot of general studies. And that's the uniqueness of the community college is the affordability factor. I can tell you this, I've been to so many universities in the US and around the world. I know in HCC, I know we have a couple of colleagues from HCC who are here. The classroom size is no more bigger than 25 students. Let's go to our colleague in U of H. The first semester, for a first semester student, the auditorium will be about 500 students. Probably the faculty have to use a binoculars to look for their students. I'm telling you, that's real. Not only that though, the tuition they pay, look at the tuition cost. And then if you look at the state-of-art facility, and then the most critical part, every classes, I know there are a couple of deans, they can affirm this to me, the faculty must be qualified, not a teaching assistant, correct? So that is who teaches the class. They must have a master's degree and a couple of credits in that field of studies to teach the subject. So imagine what is the knowledge transfer from that faculty to the student. So that is the impact. And that impact is very powerful. You know why? In the state of Texas alone, in the last 20 years, about 50 to 60% of high school students are looking at the community college as the first destination. Before, no, now. You know why? The affordability factor plays out a big role. I know we have students coming from HEC, can go anywhere. UT, Columbia, U of H, doesn't matter. As long as it's a good fit, the pursuit of your academic excellence. That's what the impact is. And I can tell you in HEC, even for international students, I know Sharon used the word cheap. I want to use the word affordability factor because you take the first year at HEC for international students, it's about $6,000. The same first year with U of H will be close to $11,000. That's almost,
maybe more for an international student.
Oh, there you go. So think about that factor. That is the critical factor. You want your affordability and the ROI, am I right? That's what happens for your educational pursuit. You can't just go and pursue a degree and spend close to $100,000 to $200,000. Will you earn the same salary? Think about it. There are some solutions, but I want you to think about it. Yes, ma'am.
I actually want to add to the comment because HCC is pioneering in many areas. Like we just saw the presentation at the virtual reality, what different departments are doing that is so innovative. For example, and I mentioned my son is at A&M doing urban planning. He finishes in May, and then he will go straight to the master's. He doesn't have anything like what that course is doing. Using virtual world, creating a lot of hands-on projects. I myself, I am an AI instructor, and we are the first community college in America to offer a bachelor's degree in AI and robotics. And our focus is in applied technology. So we will deliver students market ready. If they want to pursue, further degrees to become scientists, to come up with the latest and greatest breakthrough in technologies, that's awesome. But with what there is at the moment, they can simply work and add value to any company, small, medium, and big companies.
Thank you, Pam. I know the essence of time, I know she raised her hand just now, so I wanted to give her the last question.
Yeah, I just have a question. I'm so proud of both of you young ladies. You're doing a fantastic job. My question is, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Short-term and long-term goals.
For me, my short-term goals is get the bachelor's in mechanical engineering, get a good job, provide for my family as I'm going. But long-term, I still want to maybe specialize, like go back to school for my master's in aerospace engineering, because I picked mechanical engineering because it was broad, because I do not want to, since that's another opportunity with choosing community college, since I'm not sure if aerospace is really what I want to do. I know I like it. So I'm like, okay, let me start with mechanical engineering, but I know in the future I can still specialize in aerospace engineering if I want to. So I'll probably go back for master's in aerospace engineering in the future, I pray. Yes.
Come back to Houston to pursue a engineering job in aerospace in Houston?
I'm thinking of living in Houston, because my family is here. Despite me going and schooling elsewhere, I still want to come back and work here. Yes.
Simon?
So for me, my short-term goals are like, since I'm here as an international student, I want to gain as much knowledge and as much skills as I can while I'm here in my field of environmental science and learn as much as I can. And then my long-term goal is that I want to go back to Libya, and I want to help in the energy field and help people who didn't get the opportunity like I did to go to live abroad to study and like gain skills that I've like gained here at HCC and that I will gain in the future. So, and like Libya, like we rely a lot on like oil. This is our main like form of getting money for. So I feel like there are other forms of like ways to get energy that we can use in Libya. So this is what I would like to pursue in the future.
Are you interested in maybe pursuing like internships at maybe at a company that's interested in environmental footprint, innovative but in ecosystem environmental footprint type of facility?
Yes, actually, like I have been like recently, I have started to look for internships and like just to like plan for the future. So that's it.
First of all, thank you, Saima and Sharon. I know you both will journey very far from HEC, and I've seen your dedication and hard work. With that said, thank you, those who are here this morning and listening to the session on global mindset, and thank you for the encouragement providing to these students. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you to the students for their hard work.
You're welcome.
Hey, we're running late if you haven't already got that in the schedule, but
you have a class.
That perfect segue to how do we hire our team.
You have a class.
There's 40 to 50,000 at all across 70 buildings. If you want to hear that, I'll say it again.
Thank you, Saima. Thank you. Hope it was a good experience to both of you.
I enjoyed it.
But remember, these the links that I sent you, we use them, and let your revenue. You're going to my school, that's a school I ran with. It's a 2 months. Thank you. That's why I started my career as one of the assistant directors there. For some time ago. Yeah, yes, and if you look at Khan International Center, that's the office of I founded that program, Khan International. That's the family I knew, Khan International. Go back. Oh, please. You know, there's a lot of links from us. Yeah, those agenda, I think it's all the way from. Hey man, how are you? Good to see you again. All right, thank you. All the best for your next day. Next class.
Yeah. Oh, the lady who like asked the last question. So like before the start, we were talking. She was talking about her work.
I got you. You tell me when. That's what you should do. That's called next. And also, here's what you do. After you do that, if you go back on the link of a speakers portfolio, and then we're building it on the fly, okay? All right, take care. Thank you. All the best. Should I wait for you?
But they need help when they're doing it for world work. Classwork, world work. So our model is so here we have our sciences, everything everything architectural design and construction. So those are the centers that we specialize in, but we help all students. You know, one of the things I'll move away from my presentation just to say this, I am biased, and I think that we're one of the most important departments here at HCC. I really do, in any college environment. Especially here at HCC, because Houston is a global city. We're the international capital of the world. And so when we have students that are coming here for affordable education, they're relying on us to make sure that we have developed relationships with employers that will help them move from this transition into what their destinies are, their career destinies. That's our role. So I find our role very, very important. And we've had a lot of focus here. You can go to the next slide. We've had a lot of focus here the last few years on international companies like Dell. That's one of our main sponsors now for our Career Center. McDonald's. That's not just here in the United States. That is an international company now. So we have partnerships with them. Walmart, who's also an international company. So not only were we dealing with smaller companies who we welcome, and those are the backbone of what we do, but we're dealing with international global companies as well in our career centers. Some of the things we do to help our students, because we want our students ready when they come to you, right? You know that they're going to be entry level. You know that they've just gotten their degree, but you want a lot of other things to already be in place when those students are coming to you. So we help make sure that students, number one, are in the right field. So we help them do an assessment to make sure that they have properly matched their personality and skill with the degree that they're getting, right? So that you have a happy employee. And studies show that if students are aligned with the areas that they are most skilled in, that they tend to perform better on their jobs. We also help, of course, with things like resume writing, job internships, professional attire, mock interviews. We do professional development workshops, on-campus interviews, and career fairs. Those are just general services and things we're doing to equip our students before they get to you. Next slide. Very good. Okay, so the importance of career services for students. A couple of quick facts. Employment opportunities. Students that work with career services tend to have job offers at a 20% higher rate than students who don't work with career services while they're in school. Salaries. Students are tended to be offered at least salaries that are 12% higher when they work with their career services department, as opposed to not working with their career services department. And studies also show that most employees don't negotiate. That means even people like us in this room, we don't negotiate well with our salary. So we teach our students before they leave, you need to negotiate your salary. You never take what they give, right? You want to negotiate. You want to go to that class? That's a good question. That's a good question. But that's important and that's value. That is what HCC is offering the students, not just the in-class things that they're learning in the class, the skills they're learning. We're also telling them how do you use what you've learned and make sure you can leverage that in the job market. Student satisfaction. We know that when students work with career services, they also tend to stay in school. They don't drop at a high rate because guess why? We're talking about the end game. So when those life issues happen, which we know happens with our students, they tend to persist because they have hope. We're talking to them constantly about the end game. And then, of course, both of those are student satisfaction and retention rate. Thank you. All right. For employers, for you all that are hiring our students, talent acquisition and recruitment, we help you with that. We know you have whole departments and it's a whole big thing to hire people, right? We know it takes a lot to hire people. But here within career services and how we help our students is we help screen those candidates for you. We make sure that we're talking to you about your employment needs, and then we're channeling students to you that are going to meet those employment needs. We have diverse skill sets. You know, Nifty was just talking a minute ago with his international students that were here. They did such a fantastic job. Houston, we know, is a large international city. So our college represents that. We're a microcosm of the city, right? So we know what students are here. We know what you're looking for. We know what aspirations our students have, and we can present that to you in a very curated way so that you'll be able to hire the skill sets that you need. Internships and training opportunities, those are things that are important to you, but they're important to us as well. We know that you need to look at the future of your workforce. And so you can try it on for size with internships, right? And it helps the student because while the student is still here at school, and I'm looking at our student body president right there, and I know he could possibly attest, while they're in school, it's important to get the experience while they're in school before they finish. So we help with those things as well. And then for you, brand and visibility. The more you're on campus, the more we see your logo, the more you're in workshops, you build a trust with our students and our staff. So when it's time for us to call in for a panel, we're going to call you because you're here helping us, right? You're in partnership with us outside of just that need. So brand visibility is important in campus engagement. Okay, so what would partnership look like? If you say, okay, this sounds good to me, I think I need to get a little bit more involved with HCC. This sounds like where I want to go. What would it look like? Okay, career fairs and networking events. That's the easy peasy things, right? You can register for a career fair and be here. Talk to our students, engage, be a part of what they're doing. Information sessions, that's a little different. Information sessions is a time that is just for you. It's like an employer spotlight. That means that whole day is just for you. We're going to have you talk to the students about your company culture, the jobs you have, what you're looking for new candidates. That is your opportunity to be in front of your possible future workforce. Mock interviews and resume workshops. We have times that we're helping develop the students, but you can come in too. How many of you know that we say it all the time, but when you say it, it sounds different, right? If we're talking to them about development, they hear and see us all the time. But when the companies are here saying it, it hits a little different. And then, of course, internship programs. Also, industry-specific panels. We have time when we have panels where we're talking about a particular industry. That's important because students need to know that not only what they're working on in class is the reality. When they hear you say it in a panel, you talk about the future. What are the trends of your industry? What do students need to look like when they're coming out? What are the things that are most important to your company culture? Those are things that we want you to tell them in industry-specific panels. On-campus recruitment. Like I said, we've been working with Dell. We've been working with Walmart. We've been working with Skanska. I have Dean Asper here. That's one of his main Siemens. And there's so many things that we do with employers, even allowing employers to partner with our community organizations. And we do a big collaboration. The sky's the limit when it comes to partnering with career services, with HCC, and getting in front of students. Company tours and site visits. We want our students to see you on your turf. So it's really a good idea to invite us. We come with classes, we come in small groups, and invite us to your place of employment so they can see what you do and they can see it happening live at time. And then, of course, professional development workshops. You can partner by helping us develop students in those environments. Okay, this is just a quick example. You may not be able to see it all because of the words, but we as a team, not only do we take our students out, but we ourselves go out, especially in the summertime. We spend time visiting. It's important for us to build relationships with you and strengthen our relationships with you to know what it is that you need in your employee workforce. And so we've had all sorts of visits. These are just visits, a few names there, places that we've gone out and had time to spend with executives in these environments. Next one. Thank you. And then on-campus recruiting. This is really important. I just put an example here of a company that bought in from really the very first conversation, Primeway Credit Union. They were working with their board to start an internship program. It wasn't in Dixon, and the VPs of the company said, we really need to make sure that we're working with our community, that we're bringing students in as intern. They got the internship program approved. 4 positions were approved. And not only did they give the okay for it, all their VPs, for the most part, came out to interview students. We had over 25 students interview. They had 4 positions. All 4 positions were hired through HCC. So they didn't go to any other college. They wanted all of their interns to be hired through HCC. That tells you the value that our employer partners see in the students that are coming here and the education they're receiving. So that's just a quick example. On-campus recruitment is very, very important. So next steps. If you're not already a partner, I've said a lot in a quick time because I follow the instructions. I make sure I'm sticking to my time. I think I did pretty good, right? Yes. Okay, very good. So the next thing you want to do is you want to connect with us. It's free. It's free to connect with us and be an employer partner. And you do that through our Career Hub, which is the video that I'm going to queue up in just a second to show you that. You schedule time to meet with myself, the career reps, any of the 6 career managers across the district, so we can hear what your needs are. That's the most important thing you have to understand, is that we are here to curate your needs, the package for you, basically. And then you sign up for an event. Let's go to that. So this is just a quick video that Robbie's queuing up. It's going to just walk you through what I have on the table is some brochures if you're interested and you want to sign up to become an employer partner. It's just showing you how to
HCC Career and Job Placement Services consist of career centers strategically placed across the HCC service area. HCC Career Hub is an invaluable resource for employers, both in the Houston area and beyond, to connect with enrolled students and alumni at Houston Community College System. All enrolled students have profiles and can view employer profiles and apply for posted job positions. We ask employers requesting access to students via HCC Career Hub to have a functioning and secure website, as well as business-branded email addresses. We vet employer websites and internet profiles prior to approving them in our portal. HCC Career and Job Placement Services reserves the right to refuse access to HCC Career Hub if stated policies and procedures are not followed. If you are interested in recruiting students, we encourage you to post a job in HCC Career Hub. Employers can decide how they would like to be notified when a student or graduate indicates interest in a position. A popular method includes employers receiving a student's resume via email automatically as soon as they apply for the position. This method allows for the employer to follow up with the student immediately in the same email as the resume is attached. HCC Career and Job Placement Services tracks employment outcomes, especially when employers post internships and jobs in Career Hub. We ask all employers who post in HCC Career Hub to assist us by indicating whether a student will be interviewed or that a hire was made. Employers will receive an email with the student's resume attached, and we will be requesting your response back to the message indicating whether you plan to contact the student for an interview. Employers can also recruit students and graduates at HCC career and hiring fairs. On average, we host more than 20 job fairs annually throughout Houston. Employers can view the list of upcoming career fairs under the Upcoming Events section. We also recommend virtual info sessions as an additional marketing opportunity for employers to engage students enrolled in majors that relate directly to your business. You can use your video conferencing tool to host the session, and we will promote your event directly to your target audience. If you're interested in having an in-person recruiting booth on campus, we can assist with that too. Just submit a request in HCC Career Hub, and one of our career centers will reach out to you regarding next steps. Our goal is to ensure that employers in the Houston region and beyond have multiple ways to engage our students and graduates in the spirit of career success. Please visit www.hccs.edu/careerhub to get started.
Dr. Tan, you go and take it away whenever you're ready.
Okay, welcome. This is a panel on artificial intelligence, education, and industry. And I'm excited to be here with my co-moderator. And we're each going to introduce ourselves to start off, and then we're going to jump right into questions because this is 30 minutes, and this is an exciting topic, and it's going to go fast. So get ready. I'm Dr. Amy Tian. I'm Dean for English and Communications here at HCC.
My name is Igor Lucic. I'm the student government president of Central Campus, as well as artificial intelligence student myself.
Todd Duplantis. I work at HCC TV at the television station and also in the communications department.
I'm Dr. Mary Lawson. I am the department chair for the English department.
I'm Tricia McManus. I'm an AI instructor with our bachelor's of AI in robotics. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Denzel Wilson. I'm one of the first graduates of the AI program, and I work as grassroots community manager at Seed AI, nonprofit.
So, Todd, we'll start off with you first. We're seeing the rise of artificial intelligence in the classroom. How do you feel that educators can use AI to their advantage to kind of bridge the gap?
Well, I can speak more from the creative department, working with communications. And also from the journalistic side. I was a journalist for many years. AI we've talked about this on one of my podcasts, but AI is kind of a double-edged sword for us because I was in a meeting the other day and our chief writer, the head writer, is talking about how he can write a story, but when you're writing so many stories, you get bogged down on AI. He can use AI to spark his creativeness. have the program, Chat GPT or something like that, give him ideas he never thought of. And as a journalist, I think about it, when I used to be out there in the field, if I could have been using AI when I'm trying to put together a story in 1 hour and, I'm letting it listen to my interviews, it could shoot out a story in a few seconds. I'd be ready for that live shot. But on the other hand, am I losing my personality with that? Am I pushing my personality into that story? So it's a double-edged sword. I do think it can help us spark creativity, but we don't want to let it take away a creative spirit inside of us as we're putting together pieces.
A very interesting viewpoint.
So I come from English, heavy writing. I think that it's important for us to think about writing as thinking. And when you have AI doing the thinking for you, then that, like you said, can become an issue in the classroom. I think also it's important to recognize the difference between AI and the ways that you all might use AI and essay generating software. There's we use those terms interchangeably a lot, and I think that there's a danger in doing that. We want our students to think, right? We want them to be able to think and express themselves. And so we're looking at kind of a pedagogical shift, and especially in our department, with how we view writing and the types of writing we're asking them to do. So I think it's really exciting. I think a lot of our faculty are also kind of scared that that the students are no longer doing that thinking for themselves. So it's an exciting time for us to kind of adjust what we do.
Okay, I said this a lot yesterday, and I think here I go again. You can use AI in two ways. Either to make you smarter or to make you dumber. So, if like in English, I think that's one of the departments that, traditional things like English and history, where a student can ask something on generative AI and just copy and paste. And that's what I call using AI to become dumber, because you're not thinking. Generative AI can be a fantastic sparring partner for your thought process. So you can, debate ideas. You can, but that's not how I feel. That's not how I would do it personally. So you can add, your twist. You can be your partner, as she said, to give you some ideas that, I didn't think about that, but it's so different. That's great. So the other thing is sometimes, in some ways, we need to rethink the way we give assignments, because generative AI is not very good in thinking. If you always give an example in a classroom, and I tell students, ask any generative AI, how many words your next answer will have. It can never answer this question. And the answer is simple, 1, because it's going to be a number. But, that rational process is not there yet. So that's something that, as educators, we need to incorporate more in our assignments.
Yeah, to piggyback off the professor's point, I do think it's important that educators try to find creative ways to make sure that when the students are using AI, they're using it effectively and they're still able to use some level of brain power. They're not just like letting the AI give them the complete answer. So we can curate assignments that kind of reflect that and allow them to still think while also using AI to be more efficient at getting the assignment done. So I look at it from a perspective of it's an integrity thing mostly. People are going to cheat regardless if it's whether it's hard or easy. You're always going to have those people even back in the day that they got the extra key before the exam, or they snuck the calculator into the math test, things like that. Those things are going to happen. So now we have AI. AI makes all those things much more easy. So the student still has to have a level of integrity that if I want to learn this information, if I want to be good at it, if I want to be able to take this into career one day, I'm going to have to still use my brain power. I'm just going to have to use my thought process. But what I should be doing is learning how I can use AI to effectively still do my job, make sure it's efficient. And I think as long as they have that mindset, we will be okay. We've had the internet for a long time. people have been able to, look up answers, look up exams that, a lot of this stuff is copy and paste recycled, these exams, these things people are doing. So it's in a database somewhere, it's on the internet, and there are students out there that will find it. So it comes back to integrity and students making sure that they understand, if I want to learn this information, I shouldn't take the shortcut, I shouldn't take the easy route. I should just take this, use it to be more efficient at what I'm doing.
I really love to hear that comment on integrity. And, and we've been speaking a lot about the AI and academic integrity. And there's a great book I'm just going to throw out for y'all. It's called Cheat Lessons. Dr. Lawson's tired of hearing me talk about it.
No, that's great.
It's by James Lane. And it was written before the pandemic. So you got to take that into account as well. But I think his points are still sound. So you already sort of started talking about this, but if you could elaborate, in what ways can AI augment traditional teaching methods, and what challenges do educators face in integrating AI into their teaching practices? Go ahead, Todd.
Once again, I can speak from the communication standpoint. One thing that kind of worries me in a way, and maybe you guys can relate as well, AI can basically take away our jobs in communications, especially if there was a time in my life where I owned a very small advertising agency. Just for fun last year, I asked ChatGPT to create me a marketing plan for marketing a podcast. So it shot out all the steps I'd need to take, from sharing clips and highlights, collaborating, leveraging guest appearances, things I already knew. But then it went on to tell me, I'm thinking this from a standpoint, if I'm not in communications and I want to market my business or start a podcast, ChatGPT can tell me how to market that. It tells me how to post it in social media, the steps I need to take to post in social media. So my worry is, in the communications field, where does that leave me? Because ChatGPT is basically taking away all these mom and pop ad agencies. They're not needed right now. So that's taking away a lot of jobs in my market. So that's one thing that worries me from the standpoint.
So I think in English especially, we can use AI to augment what we're doing in a lot of different ways, actually. When ChatGPT first came out, Dr. Tan sent me a podcast, and I was flying to St. Louis. It was right after Christmas, and I was listening to it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to have a job in 5 years. And so when I got back and we started back in the English department, I'm really proud of the work we have done to meet together and kind of come up with a plan of attack. We immediately set up a committee, and we've been working on it ever since. And there have been frustrations and there have been celebrations as we kind of move through this new set of expectations for our students. Our department kind of runs the gamut in how to implement AI use in the classroom. So we have people who just are kind of putting their toes in the water a little bit, all the way up to people who are using it for brainstorming and analysis and creation and comparison in the student writing process. One other thing I think is that the metaphor where we talk about new technology and what did you do when the microwave came out and how was that? I think this is very different, especially for us in English. It's more like you would tell the microwave, I want a sandwich, and it's going to take the bread off and add tater tots, which would be great. And it's going to change it from turkey to ham, and it's going to give it back to you. You're going to say, this is not what I want. And that's what our students are finding out. We're teaching them the ethical practices, but also it is not going to do what you want it to do. You are not going to get the grade you want. Because it's just not as good as what you can think of. And so kind of giving them that and that space to play around with, oh, I can do this. I don't need that, has been interesting for us.
I guess I want to address 2 points. Unfortunately, it's very sad that some people are losing their livelihood to technology. But this has been the history of human evolution since the beginning. Like when telephone, that one with the wires, I don't know if
Some of you have seen it.
I have.
Yeah. But before that, messages were delivered by a messenger on horseback, and those guys lost their job. So obviously, and they were more significant developments like the Industrial Revolution and things like that. And we are going through another one, a major shift. And some jobs will go away, but others will appear. I think humans are very good at reinventing ourselves in filling the gaps of what technology cannot do, because there's still a lot. The other thing is they are tools. They are great tools. Generative AI can make a great tutor, like for students who are shy, or in the largest type of setting in the classroom. They don't want to speak up, or they feel they will be, dominating the classroom because they have so many questions. They can ask their questions to generative AI. How many times it takes for them to get the answer without feeling judged? So that's another positive aspect. And sometimes it's how we address our assignments. For example, a lot of tech companies, they do interviews and they have interview questions. And they are finding ways to create the interview questions in a way that ChatGPT or any generative AI cannot answer. At least not directly. So, oops. And that's one of the things that, as instructors, we need to find out. And then there's the other things that some companies in AI with responsible AI are doing. That sort of, watermarking when an answer is AI generating. And it's an emerging new discussion in responsible AI, but, there's also the companies trying to look for that.
Yeah, so I'll take this back to a saying that we've come up with. What we're trying to do is we're trying to turn AI anxiety into intrigue and turn that intrigue into opportunity. And, ways you can do that is engaging the students, engaging the community on how they can use generative AI. So one of the things we have is our Hack the Future series at CDAI. And we've done that in partnership with the White House and, other members of Congress. But we go around and we do penetration of these large language models, and we give people that have never even touched AI before, never even coded, an opportunity to try to prompt and see if they can get the AI to either give them the correct answer or watch it show it hallucinate or give some sort of biased or misinformation. And what it shows is that these people can really interact with these models, and they can honestly see how they can get the best out of them. And I think if you take that formula and kind of allow people to work with it, allow people to see what it can do and what it can't do. Can it give me this answer clearly? Can it write this paragraph? Can it write this song? We did an exercise last week in Tulsa at the Greenwood community, and we had 6 different categories, and we allowed the members that participated to pick which one they wanted. They were like entrepreneurship, creative expression, religious and spirituality, economic development. And we allowed them to interact with LLM to see if it can get positive outcomes in those categories. And a lot of the people that participated are not very tech savvy. They're not very intuitive on what AI can do, but they were able to get positive outcomes. They were actually able to learn what these models were able to do for them. So that's that turning the anxiety in the intrigue aspect, because now they were nervous about AI before. They didn't understand it. They didn't know what it could do. But now they have some level of comfort when they're going to work with these models. And now they may go do it again in the future and continue to learn. And now they're creating themselves opportunities. So I just think if we allow people to interact with it as much as possible and really learn and see what it can do, it'll be effective.
I just want to pick back a little bit. I'm sorry, but that you failed my course. You can take it. It's just that also prompting became a job in the area. So knowing how to ask the questions for AI is a skill and involves critical thinking and involves some things. So, especially in English, to construct that objectively. And that's also another aspect that I think no one thought about. And then now you already have books, how to prompt engineer. You have a job position, prompt engineering. So, yeah, that's it.
Well, actually, I mean, that brings me to my next point. In what roles would you say that educators have to helping their students get ready for a ever-changing world of artificial intelligence? Well, we'll actually start with Mr. Wilson, and we'll work our back way up.
I think their role is to show them the tools that are available, make sure they understand how to use those tools, and then kind of connect them to opportunities that are available. So one of the things my professor did, Dr. Brown, when I started the AI program, is he showed us a lot of the different things that companies like NVIDIA, AWS, Intel were doing in the AI space. And our classes are more so centered towards what you can do with this once you graduate, as opposed to focusing on the back end stuff, all the math, all the science that really bore us and probably make us not want to do much more work. So kind of mixing in that combination of, hey, these are folks that this is what they're doing in AI. They just, unveiled this large language. I remember the first time ChatGPT came out, we were talking about it in class. Everybody wanted to use it. Kind of exposing us to all those different things and all the new news that was coming out about AI. It kind of kept us excited and wanting us to learn. So I suggest professors and educators try to make sure that the students are understanding that, hey, we gotta learn this stuff so we get able to use it. But these are the capabilities. Kind of keeping that excitement factor there, so they want to continue to learn about it and continue to get better.
I totally agree with Mr. Wilson, and I enforce the use of AI in my classroom. So even for coding, are you crazy? They need to learn to code. I said, well, coding in AI is slightly different. So the focus is not writing the instructions, it's something else. So you need to know how to do it. And you have tools that are there, several, and professionals are using. So I rather prefer to having my students and guiding them to how to use those tools responsibly and effectively than they having to hide and think like it's cheating and maybe not use them in a correct way.
I agree with both of you. My husband is actually in IT, and right now he's working on a program that is supposed to save Toyota like 50,000 hours of manual entering. I don't understand it. I don't care. And then we argue about this all the time because I'm like, no, they can't. They have to. And I think that's what it boils down to is the ethical use. What are you allowed to do in this space? And in the space of this classroom, your professor is going to determine that. And your classroom looks very different from my classroom. And so in academics, English, history, those writing heavy disciplines, I think the ethical use of it is very important. Also, we have to remember that at a community college, we're at the bay, we're at the introductory level. And so in introductory English, I want them to be able to think and to demonstrate that thinking for themselves. When they get to upper level, and if I were teaching at a 4-year and teaching in the 4,000 level courses or the graduate school, I think that's a very different conversation than the one we're having here. So I want them to be able to think, and I think part of thinking is analyzing the ethical use and being able to use it within the parameters of the classroom.
We have a number of our students from HCC that come through HCC TV on a semester basis to work as interns or work study. What I, over the past few months, have been doing is having our team take a look at certain programs, AI programs. I mean, there's this one program out there that we do a lot of video podcasting. You could shoot the whole video podcast, and within a matter of seconds, it will edit it together for you. I mean, it's amazing. I had our team look at it. One of our editors, he's like, no, this isn't going to work for us. I'm like, why? And he said, because I want a job. I'm like, no, it's still going to work. You have to know if we should use it. He goes, yeah, I'm just not a good fan of it. So we're looking at that program. There's also, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but Sora. Yes. Wow. It caused Tyler Perry to stop his studio he was going to open. He was going to open an $800 million studio. He saw Sora and said, That's it, folks. We're done. You know, I mean, Sora, yeah, you can look at it. Sora Open. It creates videos. I mean, you can put text in what you want, a cat driving a car. It'll create that for you in a matter of seconds. Seeing some of the videos it's created, that's real scary, but it's still things we need to look into. How can we use this to enhance what we're doing at HCC TV? So we're just starting to dig into it, and you know, the students, I try to get them involved with it as well. Man, some of that stuff out there, that's amazing.
Just to pick back on Sora. Sora was announced a few days back, but it's not ready for regular people to use. It's just as experimental base. But the quality is very good. It generates videos up to 60 seconds. And we don't have any tool that does that. Usually is 4 or 5 seconds. But I don't know to which point it's going to be released to the public. And obviously the videos that you see there are the videos that have been handpicked by OpenAI to showcase their products. So they are the best of the best. They're probably not showing the, weird ones.
Look at the one where they do a Monte Carlo race through the streets of San Francisco. That blew my mind watching that.
It's incredible and really changing the landscape for all of us. And when we saw what not just ChatGPT, right? That's not the only generative AI writer, right? There's Poe, there's so many others out there. They can write your dissertation for you. So what does that mean for the world of academics, where that's the capstone project of the PhD program? Is that going to be, surely that's going to be shifting, changing. What will it look like in 5, 10, 20 years? So it's amazing this time that we're in. So I'm going to ask 2 sort of questions, and then we're going to open it to the floor. So if you have questions, get ready. So I'd like to ask our 2 representatives from our AI program to talk a little bit about our new bachelor's program, and then also I would like to hear from our other 2 panelists on how AI can be used to support students with diverse learning needs and disabilities.
I guess I'll start. So, the bachelor's, I like to think I had something to do with that. But I think it's a great program. I think it's a great opportunity for students to get an AI degree. I remember I first saw the AI degree as an associate's. This was middle of COVID. I just got laid off from my job, and I was wanting to go back to school, and I saw AI. I'm like, no one has this. Like, there will be no employer that can say, I saw somebody with an AI degree, like at the undergraduate level. So when I went into the program, I didn't know what to expect, but I think students should really take it on. I really enjoyed the 2-year program and things we were able to do, starting an AI conference. And now that you can take that into a 4-year degree and get it at a much affordable price than like going to a university, I think that's invaluable. I thought having a degree that says artificial intelligence on it was already priceless, but now that you can get a bachelor's, like I think it's a no-brainer for most students if they're, questioning, hey, should I go transfer to like University of Houston or a bigger university, or should I stay here and get the Bachelor of Applied, robotics and AI? I think you got to stay where you're saving money and stay where you're still getting a great education and still being exposed to a lot of the opportunities that you would get at the university. I think it's a win-win for you. So I'm really happy that they were able to get it approved and that they're able to get it going this year. So I'm excited.
Actually, our bachelor's degree in, applied technologies, artificial intelligence, and robotics is the first in the country. Houston Community College is the first community college to offer this. The whole country has eyes on us at the moment. We have people from, U of H, Rice, not only other community colleges coming to us to see what we're doing. The focus of our degree, as we say, it's applied technology. So it's to deliver students that are market ready. They can leave the classroom today and be hands-on working for any company tomorrow. Whilst some of the traditional 4-year institutionals, they have a more traditional academic approach, that it's more on the research and doing the math. which is great for those who want to become the next Sam Altman, who is the OpenAI CEO, those guys. And another point is there's not a degree in AI. I mean, we are producing the first batches of AI professionals who have a diploma that says AI, because all the famous guys in AI, they don't have an AI degree. They come from physics, they come from computer science, they come, from other areas, because AI is that new.
So you wanted us to talk about students with
disabilities and how AI can support access.
So I think this is an area of great opportunity for us to work and collaborate with the ADA counselors, the people who kind of know about the disabilities, because that's not my area of expertise, but also with the students themselves. And I think the students need to start advocating for the things that they want to use, which is a great transferable skill, right? So we just recently had a situation where a student who was a second language learner wanted to use a paraphrasing tool, and that immediately dinged as AI generated. I think that it would have been a great thing for her to sit down with her professor, and again, we're all new at this, right? And say, this is what this tool can do. It's not thinking for me, right? Because that's the key for us. It's not thinking for me, but it can do this and it can't do this. I think that conversation would have been very important, and we maybe all could have learned from it. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of expand our knowledge, expand what we're doing, and then move forward in ways that can help the students and can also help us. I think that we need to go back to kind of being lifelong learners and have those conversations. So
I think one of the biggest challenges for a television station, or if you're producing a video on the web, is when you watch TV shows and they say closed captioning provided by, it's because closed captioning is very expensive. There is to be ADA compliant, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it has 80% of the words have to be correct. Well, there's a lot you can get wrong at 20%, especially, HCC becomes ACC, I'm serious, so we would have to send our programming off beyond the ADA compliance to a special closed captioning place, and that could cost anywhere from $200 to $400 a show. So it becomes very expensive. What excites me with AI in this area is it could take away all of those costs from TV stations, or from us having to pay extra to get something closed captioned by a live individual. So I think that aspect is going to be exciting for us, also cost savings for the college.
Well, excellent. We are joined here by some awesome guests, so I wanted to take the time. We have about 5 minutes left, so I think that's enough time for 2, maybe 3 questions before. Yes, sir.
From my standpoint, I think in a few years we're going to be watching AI anchors at news stations. Yeah, I don't think we're that far.
Is this like the challenge for students with, for example, in math, questions, problem-solving questions, and so what would be a creative prompt for you-based,
one of the things that we're finding is that the types of essays that we used to do in the 80s and 90s are not the types of essays that we should continue doing. And so we're kind of trying to gently push our faculty into more analytical writing and research-based writing. And it is very difficult for AI to make the connections that are necessary in that type of writing. I taught a class over the winter mini where I was asking students to analyze the argument of a TED Talk, and it couldn't do it because it couldn't get the TED Talk the correct way. And so we're finding that if you adjust it just a little bit to be more current, asking for specific bits of research and evidence from places like that makes it easier to avoid the essay generation. Mm-hmm.
That was actually going to be my question. How do you put an essay assignment so that there is the integrity and writing and not putting everything? What a talent.
Well, and one of the other things that a lot of our faculty have done is have the students write the essay and then run the prompt through, and you compare it, and it's amazing because they're like, that's not what I said. And so teaching them to have this kind of authority and ownership over their work, I think, has been really important.
Yeah, we're open admissions. I just want to reiterate. I want you to come here. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely, it's going to be a challenge. And I think admissions students are already struggling to be more open and to have, how do you evaluate students you've never met and make selections to your institution? And it is certainly going to be a challenge. And I just would add to the conversation that this is certainly being an opportunity, which we've always talked about in terms of authentic voice, right? Encouraging our students that that's what we want them to do. We're not trying to teach them to write like us. We're done. We don't need any more academic papers, right? We want to hear your voice and give you power and social political power, and part of that is being able to write. And so that's part of it. And also I think thinking about the process, and the process might change, right? But so we're evaluating and teaching process, and we've always taught process with writing, and now there just might be more emphasis on process. Yes, sir.
So given that there's plenty of new AI tools every single day, how is HCC ensuring that faculty stays up to date on those tools? And how do you what's the indication of that? Good question.
Okay, I'll take it.
I don't like you.
Well, definitely in the AI department, it's been a 24/7 job for me. Like I make a priority to be on top and obviously networking, following the companies, there's some YouTube channels, to get the information as fresh as they come and educate ourselves. So, but you have 2 points. I mean, the foundations, like now talking specifically about AI, the foundations, some of them are from the 50s. Because in the 50s they had the ideas, but they didn't have the computer power to put it, to prove. So, and a lot and things have been built on that foundation. So obviously you still have to have a foundational knowledge. And on top of that, you keep up with the latest and greatest, but also there are a lot of, how can I say, not bells and whistles, but, a lot of things that are built on the same basis. We have, like specifically talking in terms of large language models, like ChatGPT. There are, you can buy API from those guys, and also there are the open source models that you can build on top of it and create your application. So at the consumer end, you see the application. So sometimes that application, what's under the hood, is not that much new breakthrough. I hope I have answered your question.
All right, well, thanks again, Professor McManus. Let's give them all a round of applause. Unfortunately, this panel comes to an end, but not today. So I'm going to let Robbie take it away to kind of let the rest is going.
All right, thanks a lot. Great panel. You can also take a picture together. Because y'all, I think a lot of folks may want to sign it later because you guys are becoming rock stars of AI for Houston. So just letting you know, you know. If we can get the next panel getting started here. Yeah. All right, everybody. So I'd love for y'all to exchange business cards and emails, scan LinkedIn QR codes. You'll have that opportunity, but part of the job requires us to stay on track for a little bit more. And then there's an opportunity to go explore this campus and make a lot of good new friends. But so with that said, for the programming, we'd like to continue with the next panel, and we'll pass it off to Dr. Maya Dernovo, the Associate Vice Chancellor of Houston Community College. You've learned about our students, you learned about how to engage with our career services, as well as our programs that are offered throughout the college. But let's learn about the entrepreneurial spirit and mindset of HCC. That is Dr. Dernovo. So we'll pass it over to her, and take it away.
Thank you, Robbie. So we're switching this panel a little bit. Originally, we were going to do from seed to growth, so doing just seed programs and then the growth programs. But since one of our Centers for Entrepreneurship is not here, we're going to have everybody talk about all of our programs. So our mission in entrepreneurship is to help small businesses start and to grow. That's the bottom line of everything that we do. We've been doing this work for the past 14 years. We started at one Center for Entrepreneurship at Northwest, which is where Sandra works right now and is leading that center, and she'll be talking briefly in just a few minutes. But that's where we started. We've grown to 3 Centers for Entrepreneurship at Houston Community College, and we have 2 grant programs, the Goldman Sachs and the Minority Business Development Agency, and a third one is the Verizon grant, which is for middle school kids that we offer at the Southeast College. So you'll be hearing about all of these programs, but we really try to focus on really the diversity in Houston, which is minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, and now we have a brand new program for seniors, which is through a grant that we got through AARP. So we really, and because of the program for middle school kids, our scope has really increased. So we're really proud of that, and also proud that all of our programs come at no cost to the small business owner because of the many partnerships that we have. So for example, the business plan competition, which is offered at Northwest right now, is totally sponsored through donations from banks and strategic partnerships. Our Small Business Success Series, which is a 40-hour program, is sponsored through Wells Fargo, and we have a lot of collaborative initiatives. So everything that we offer really comes at no cost to the small business owner, and we're really proud of that work. So I want to start with Sandra. I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves first, and then we'll start with Sandra because she has been here the longest, along with myself, and then we'll have everybody have an opportunity. So let's do introductions first, and then Sandra, I'm going to throw it to you.
Okay, hi there. My name is Sandra Louvier, and I'm the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship at HCC Northwest. In the longer way to say that with HCC is I'm the director of Community Relations and Entrepreneurial Initiatives for the Glenda and David Regenbaum Center for Entrepreneurship at HCC Northwest. So that takes a little while. So. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
My name is Ravi Brumbat. I am the Director for Student Innovation and Entrepreneurship at HCC. I think about 6 years ago is when I joined as a director, and prior to that I was a curriculum developer for the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Enterprise degree plan. But prior to education, I've been a tech guy, a tech entrepreneur. I've owned a hotel or restaurant in a hotel that's been acquired. I've had a health science company that was also acquired, and so I say I'm an entrepreneur converted to an educator, and really believe that there's a problem to be solved in education. I think it's a very fruitful industry if the problem could be solved. It's a very profitable industry if the problem could be solved. But at the same time, I think our country really depends on it. We really do need to bring a lot of these opportunities to Houston, to Texas, to US, just because I think that's the right thing to do. So hence, I'm now an educator at the college and running this center.
Good morning. I am Deidre Sutton. I am an advisor, business advisor with the Houston Minority Business Development Agency. It is a grant with the Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. We have a special program which I'll outline later, but however, as Robbie, I was a previous business owner as well, diverse background in used car lots, daycare center, tax and business writing, business advisory services, and also had at one time a snowball stand. So in New Orleans, it's very popular and lucrative for a couple of months. Yeah. May sound small, but it made an impact on my revenue. But so I look forward to talking to you more about our small business program with the Minority Business Development Agency.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Gomez. I'm the Outreach Director of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program. So it is a grant funded by Goldman Sachs under Houston Community College. I just started in November, so it's a pleasure being here with my colleagues and learning about them. Similar to them, I'm a recovering entrepreneur. I had my own business for 10, 12 years, marketing consulting, working with small businesses on content and social media marketing, and then I pivoted to inclusive marketing, so still do a little bit of consulting in that area. And I'm fortunate because this is my dream job that I didn't know, to work in education and still be under that business ecosystem and to be out in the community. I couldn't ask for a better opportunity.
She's done amazing work since she has been here. Oh my gosh. Yeah. She'll be talking about that shortly. Okay, so Sandra, you want to get started and talk about the Center for Entrepreneurship? These are 4 amazing individuals, so you will be impressed with their presentations.
Thank you, Maya. I'm excited to be here because it's a passion of mine, this Center for Entrepreneurship. I didn't realize we were supposed to say a little bit about ourselves. Before I came to HCC, I started I'm a native Houstonian, went to college at U of H, hotel and restaurant management, and then my MBA. And I started my career doing feasibility work for building hotels. So I had about 17 years of doing that. And then I segued over into F&B, food and beverage, and I worked for an ice cream shop company, Haagen-Dazs, to do ice cream shop locations all over the country. So I went from big developers to the mom and pop guy who wanted to open an ice cream shop, and my whole goal was to create or help them learn how to create the plan that justified opening their business in the location that they wanted to do it. And so I'm all about the business plan, the growth plan, and I love working with the big people and with the small entrepreneurs. So when Dr. Hodges and Dr. DeNovo brought me into HCC, it was to create a Center for Entrepreneurship because they had already started a business plan competition for a couple of years. And it created the need for a Center for Entrepreneurship that would help people get more ready to move through a highly competitive business plan competition. They needed to know a little bit more about what were the bones of the business plan, how did they all work, and they need to have already started on some of the primary assumptions in their business plan so that they could pay attention to the other primary aspect of the program, which was to get one-on-one advising from someone who could help them vet their own business assumptions and ask the tough questions before the plan was out there, and it was most important to know all the answers. So we helped them prepare to have a written plan that they could implement against, as well as how to verbalize the plan, how to have a written plan, and how to verbalize and articulate their plan. So, okay, slides. Do you want me to advance them?
Yeah, or just hit this.
Okay. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, this is not filming or anything. Yeah. All right, so here's my slides. So the Center for Entrepreneurship is on the left here. So since I'm talking about that, I've given it half the slide, but I also love to talk about how we fit into the overall Office of Entrepreneurial Initiatives. So we started the center way back in 9, and my first involvement with the competition is 2010. So we're going into our 15th year of me being involved in the competition. And so we've become known for signature programs, 3 of them in particular. Maya's already mentioned them, most of them. The HCC Business Plan Competition, the Small Business Success Series by HCC, and the HCC Mattress Max School of Selling. And so those we've developed from singular events, summits, workshops. We've done a lot of that over the years as well, and we still do that. But my center has become focused on these 3 signature programs as well, and they actually become progressive because the overall goal is for HCC and our Office of Entrepreneurial Initiatives to create a pathway for entrepreneurs from idea to launch to growth to exit strategy. And over the years, that's what we've been doing. So our Centers for Entrepreneurship are more about the ideas and the proposed and startup entrepreneurs. And then we can do all of this stuff to empower them, and then they can move on to the Minority Business Development Agency and the 10,000 Small Businesses program. And then sometimes they go through those and they come back because we keep offering programs that are in manageable bites for people that may even be out there already. They're not going to college anymore, and they come back to get just what they need to know, to do what they want to do with what they already know to turn it into a business. But we also do things like, I'm at the A-Leaf Hayes campus, and we share the same floor with the filmmaking department. So, you know, a lot of them are gig people where they're doing freelancing, and we want to help them learn how to do that right in the beginning, so it's legal, you know, and then they get started in some. So we actually won an award back in 2017 for being the home-based business champion of the Greater Houston area by the Houston District SBA. So we really are there we're seed. Okay, so me, Ravi, and Susie Molina, who couldn't be here today, we're all the seed part of the seed launch and grow. Is that what it's called? Yes, right. And so anyway, I'll go to the next slide. So here's our team. Me, Sandra, David Regenbaum is a volunteer entrepreneur in residence who has been very successful in business. He's grown a company from over 40 years to great wealth, and he retired. He was part of the HCC Foundation, and he started looking at what we were doing. Then he got a coffee cup, and he got an office, and he got a parking space, and he was full-time. And so he's been involved with a lot of the development of these 3 programs with us, and we appreciate all his volunteer efforts. Then Sabia Dolkawala, our program manager, she's our whiz-bang person with Zoom and with logistics and with documentation and things like that. And then Carola Medina, she works for the whole Office of Entrepreneurial Initiatives, but she helps us as well with attendance and things like that. So here's a little bit about our business plan competition. It's underway now. We started the first training session just on the 27th, and we allow in a certain number of teams, so it's a real win just to get in because they're going to move through the training and the mentoring all the way through the spring. So you guys start getting ready for this now if you're interested in it. A lot of times somebody will apply for it and they might have to wait till the next year to get in. But we do accept proposed startup and existing entrepreneurs into the competition. So sometimes it's just not the year for you, but the next year may be the year for you. And then all the people competing, they bond with each other, they learn together in these 6 different training sessions, and they all get paired with advisors. So we raise a cohort every year of 50 to 60 advisors to help these teams move through the competition. So it's about surrounding the entrepreneurs with the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the support that they need. And then we have a lot of alumni because we've been doing it now for 17 years, and they even come back and advise in the competition, and they also give money to the cause as well. So I'll keep going faster. I saw Ravi look at his watch. All right, so plans are due in May. Then the 5 finalists present to judges, and then we have an award ceremony on June 6th. That's the different things that we cover in the competition. And it's really about the different phases of a business plan. So they work on writing the business plan. Let's move to the Small Business Success Series because that actually has something to do with the business plan competition. It's created to, and it's also offered at no cost, like Maya said, either sponsored by Wells Fargo Bank or another big grant that we brought in. And people learn how to create the bones of a business plan in this, although a business plan isn't due at the end of it. So we actually consider it a prerequisite for the proposed and startup entrepreneurs to apply for the competition. Or if you're going through college credit classes like the small business management or entrepreneurship and economic development, that can count as your prerequisite as well. So people say, why do we have to compete with existing entrepreneurs? We're proposed, we're startup. And we say, well, you're going to be doing that as soon as you open. So now is the time to follow the rules. We always have proposed entrepreneurs, even one-person teams, get into the finals, make it, and sometimes win. Last year it was a solopreneur that won the competition. So it's amazing what you'll learn in moving through something like this. So we recommend the Small Business Success Series either on-site, 5 full days, or digital 10 sessions. And you'll see more of that from us. Mattress Mac School of Selling, I call that one my toddler because we've only been doing that for 3 or 4 years, but it is so fun and it's so motivational and it's good for everyone because it really is about how to form relationships. Max says, when you first teaching a toddler to eat or trying to get a toddler to eat their vegetables, that's a sales job. So it's all about understanding who you're talking to, where they're coming from, what your body language and your tone looks like, and how to listen to what they're saying to reflect back and identify with something that is important to them to meet a need that they have. And so I just love it because it improves everybody's life. So we do it on site, which is amazing, and it goes a little deeper, but we also do it digitally so people from all over the city can log in and they say they have a better life. So we have people even from 10,000 small businesses, et cetera, coming back in and saying, this changed my life, my orientation, and made me less afraid of selling, even though I'm the owner. And so it's changing lives. So now I think people are looking at me a little bit more. I better finish here. I'm done. All right. Thanks.
That was great. So for those of you who are doing write-ups or representing Innovation Map, I hope you really had to capture the story. I mean, what HCC started back in 2009, and it's really one of our best kept secret, and unfortunately that's not a compliment in Houston. This program really does deserve the awareness, the publicity. We need more people to go through this free program that educates and builds intentions of entrepreneurship, provides practical entrepreneurship, and then it provides seed funding from bankers. I mean, what a great program, completely free, and there's hand-holding through the process. So,
and I will say in that slide, we did surpass a milestone last fall of 1,000 alumni graduating from these 3 signature programs. And you'll hear more about Goldman Sachs as well, but we're grateful for that. We also do a lot of one-off ones. Like last night, we did a digital marketing clinic the last Wednesday of the month for over almost 100 people. So the word is out there, but there's room for you.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yes. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. So that's one center of entrepreneurship. There's 3. So I have the pleasure of leading this one, and this is where I love my job. Dr. Donovo allowed me to build my job description, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
She allowed me to say, what do you think we ought to do? And it allowed me to say, you know what, we really need to focus on building awareness and inspiring action across Houston. And we do that by hosting a whole bunch of things, but this is where I think my passion comes in. This was the original vision board submitted when this director position was created. And it's busy, but it really talks about how do we get those 70% of community college students that don't know where they want to go. How do we catch them before they fall off? How do we give them resources, mentorship, opportunity workshops, hackathons, pitch competitions to help them build and validate what they're thinking about solving problems for our community, our society, our customers, and then getting them some entrepreneurial education, whether it be one-on-one mentoring or inside the classroom or SPSS or other programs like our business classes as offering associates, but also student clubs. There's some students in the audience that represent some startups. These students are taking part in student clubs as officers. Igor, that you saw, is a former student president for the Innovation Club that I advise. Students like that need access. They need awareness. They need to know what's available to them. So we take them and put them into the ecosystem. What we're doing with you, HX and the Innovation Map group, is we're letting you know that HCC has students that are thinking about solving problems. They've got some education around entrepreneurship, but now they want to take action. And they need you to tell the story about them and their ventures. We host a lot of student competitions. We're having one tomorrow at University of St. Thomas in partnership with HCC. We're having one in May 10th for $30,000. And this is not the ones you usually hear about. Usually you hear about Rice Business Plan competition, which I love. I'm a proud supporter and an investor for. But at the same time, community colleges have a place to play. So that's what this map is about. And this is something that, thanks to Dr. Donovo's leadership, I'm able to enjoy this and play and find those change makers of the future who are thinking, who are caring, thinking, designing, acting, and making something. So I'm going to quickly just go through this. The goal of my office, if nothing else, is really to teach about entrepreneurship as a kind and a helpful profession. Why helpful? Why kind? Because you have to be able to listen to your customers, whether you agree with them or not. You have to have all your biases put aside and listen to look for opportunities, to find problems to solve. Then why helpful? Well, when you can't help someone if you don't already have some awareness or education yourself. So see somebody's car, tires lost air, you can't help them if you don't know how to change a tire, right? So if you know and you have that skill, you can be helpful. And if you're helpful, will that person turn around and offer, profit for your solution? Because it is important that whatever we design out of community colleges or any Center for Entrepreneurship, that we teach them to be kind, be helpful, but also be profitable, even if it's a nonprofit. It's very important sustainability. It's very important that they have some financial literacy, which is what some of our programs aim to offer. We have lots of successes. I'm going to skip some of these slides because I think part of the message is, we need your help to get the word out there. We host hackathons. 3 years ago or 4 years ago, people said, what are you going to do? You're going to grab wood and hack it? What are you doing? And it's like, no, we're going to basically tell the students that we have customers ready to pay for solutions. Here is the problem set. Customers come, BMC Software, Carollo Engineering, many other partners have come to us, and in fact, we need your help to find more partners that said, we have a problem. We want to get some of your smart students, your entrepreneurial students to solve it. And we'll run a hackathon over a weekend, Saturday, Sunday. And the ideas that come out of these hackathons, they have won in the last 12 months, the National Science Foundation's first place in Washington, D.C., an idea that came out over a hackathon. It also won NASA's MIDIC second place nationally. These students are really going out there representing the best of HCC in Houston. So we need your help to find more problems to solve. Bring us your problems. We'll have people and talent to help you solve it. Our students are amazing, some of them right there, creating slippers that charge when you walk to floating cars to solve problems of flooding in Houston. That's actually what takes place in one of our fabrication labs in Houston. Our students are also featured on Houston Chronicle under the fashion program, talking about how they've used their skills to create sustainable fashion. These are people, these are students, these are Houstonians that are coming to HCC, and we need your help to get them on the path of entrepreneurship. We also, as Maya mentioned, have a lot of specialty programs focused for women, focused for veterans. Again, I won't go into all the details, but I encourage you to look them up, talk about them, tweet about them, share about them, and connect them to Sandra, me, Maya, so that we could do something and engage them with our student body. We offer free workshops every month in the Missouri City campus, targeting the Fort Bend area. Look at that crowd. It fills up the room. They're coming for some business skill. That probably is talking about funding your business. A lot of people want to know sources of funding. We also have a large event we do in December called Meet the Buyer, meeting with different procurement officers in the city to really get the small business owners, into the system into the federal dollars and state dollars, which I know Deirdre will talk much more in depth with, and she's an expert in this. But we also focus on engaging the youth. That photo there is Black Girls Code, an initiative that led us to start the Black Girls Code chapter in Houston, attracting middle school and high schoolers to the opportunities that the past panel talked about. We can't talk about inclusion and then only focus on one set of Houstonians. Got to focus on all. We got to make our spaces available to everybody, and we got to do so with engagement, excitement, energy, and passion, which I think Dr. Donova has done well bringing the panel here. Veteran program, as I mentioned, is our, our commitment to serving those who've served us. We have run pitch competitions for veterans. We've run the first Veterans Business Expo at HCC, which last year was in George R. Brown Convention Center. It's helped us put veteran business ownership on the map nationally, and it's something that we're really passionate about doing. So, reach out to us, and if you have sources of funding, we need funding for those programs too. Good thing is we're nonprofit, and a lot of it is tax write-off. So let me get to the slide that matters, which is how do you get in touch with us, or at least on my end, which is somewhere here. There. So you could scan that QR code, connect on LinkedIn. My office number and email address is there, and we'll take questions from you. But at the end, because we're going to combine our panel and give. So this is about seeding and growing entrepreneurship. This side right here, it's about growth. You already are a business, you've got stuff, and now you're looking for growth. So that's your growth. So I'll pass it over to growth.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. While he sets that up, I just want to say that the program that I worked for, I've been doing this for over 30 years with different grant owners, and the purpose is to assist a target market that's economically underserved. And having said that, these programs are specifically targeted. They specifically have contract opportunities for that target market. It is federally funded. They use our tax dollars, so they have to be transparent and they have to have a structured program. And the biggest hurdle for new businesses starting their business growth and developing a new revenue stream within the confines of these federally funded programs, state and city funded programs, is doing it their way. We don't have the flexibility as we do in the commercial market to be unique, to be different, and to do it our way. So the biggest challenge is channeling our clients to understand a process. That process leads to opportunities. Those opportunities grow your business and create a new revenue stream. So that's what we're really about. All right. Okay. Our vision is to grow small businesses. Okay. Basically, all businesses are important to us. However, in this program, we are targeting one specific disadvantaged group. Okay. We're federally funded, this program here in Houston, but we do have 50 federally funded business development grants throughout the United States. So we're not alone. We just happen to be here in Houston doing our thing just as well as our components throughout the United States. Our impact is to help you access capital. You don't have business growth without access to capital. It's very important we do it right, and we do it as quickly as possible. We also give you access to contacts. Contacts are important because business is relationships. You got to know the right people. You have to know how to present yourself to those people, and you got to know who belongs to who. The language for federal government is different than the language for the state of Texas, as well as for the city of Houston. So you have to learn your acronyms and who you're talking to in order to do it properly. Access to markets. MBDA has MOUs with large corporations. We've done workshops with UPS, Amazon, a plethora of them. I can't think of all of them on top of our head. So we do make sure that we have a place within those markets globally. We are one-on-one business consulting advisory service. That means as the business owner, I talk to you, you talk to me confidentially. We do what we need to do to help you either fix a problem or move on and create a new program or whatever the troubles may be so that we can get on track to do these programs. We're strategic about it. Like I said, these programs have a specific way of doing things, so we got to get you pre-qualified. We got to get you registered, and we got to get you certified before we can even talk about how we're going to bid, our pricing, who we're going to see and talk to, send our capability statement to, etc., how we represent our business. And then there's invitations to webinars and events and workshops because we have an open door policy. If you don't fit the constraints of our program, being in business 3 years, having a revenue of close to $500,000, and being an ethnic minority, a socially disadvantaged small business, we still advise you, we still help you with signature programs. Our subs and sandwiches happens to be our favorite. It's very impactful. We take prime contractors into the construction industry, and we do a lot of business in construction in Houston, and they actually tell you how to do business with them, what we want to see, who we're looking for, and we make sure we make those connections. Those connections give you opportunities to bid, and those bids should lead to a contract. If it doesn't, we work on the bidding process and why it's not. So it's one-on-one and it's intentional.
I'm sorry. I just need to let you know we're about to have a fire alarm, but they have come, since we're not in the building, we can stay. But just be prepared, it's going to be loud.
See, that's a problem right there. So we know. So
they did put signage for fire drill today.
They
but
did. I saw
we're
it.
excluded. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm gonna try and talk before the bells go off.
Yes.
So, in order for you to see the impact we have in Houston, we have helped our clients access $915 million in financing transactions. Wow. And for us, that includes bonds. Bonds are very difficult to get, but because construction requires bonds, and it's the same process as getting funding, we also include those. So access to contracts, we've done over $660 million in contracts. That is federal, state, local, and some that are corporate. Corporate America does have a program for small businesses, and we do advise in that area. And our clients serves with 687 minority-owned small businesses, creating over 3,756 jobs. Salute is one of our signature programs. That's where we give back to our clients and we celebrate them at a formal reception. We give them awards and we talk about not only the success of our program, but actually let them inspire the audience about their success with working with us and how, we can further help others. So that's in June. And that's the team. So if you want to get to us, please give us a call or email us at mbda@hcc.edu. And we look forward to talking to you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Michelle, it's all yours.
All right.
These are amazing folks, you can see.
All right. So as I stated, I'm with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. This program has been established since 2011, and we like to work with established entrepreneurs that are looking to scale. So what does that mean? All right, so let's start with the established. You have to be either the co-owner or owner or co-owner, right? And then only one person can go through the co-work. You have to be in business for at least 2 years, have 2 employees, including yourself, W-2 employees, maybe a handful of contractors. Every business is different.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
Okay. So we like to work with established entrepreneurs. What is established? Established is you have to be the owner or co-owner. You have to be in business for at least 2 years. You have to have at least 2 full-time employees. So that's you and someone else. Depending on your business, maybe a handful of contractors. And you have to have revenue exceeding $75,000 for the past 2 years, right? And then looking to scale. So what does that mean? Maybe, obviously, we all want more money, right? We want more revenue. 2, with more money, you want to hire more people, right? You want to hire the right people. And then you want access to capital, right? Whether it's maybe a micro loan through People Fund, Lift Fund, or maybe you need a larger loan through one of our partner banks, Wallace, Regions, you name it, or even SBA loan as well, right? So in those 12 weeks, we put you in position to do that. And you're learning about your operations, HR, financials, finance/accounting, marketing, and then you walk away with a strategic growth plan. We have facilitators come in. They're subject matter experts in one of those topics, and they're teaching you all things in a short amount of time on that given subject. And then we have growth groups, right? So we take about 30 people in a class, and then you're going to have your growth group, which is going to be about 4, 5, 6 people. And you're all entrepreneurs, right? You're all business leaders in the community. You're talking about your challenges and your successes. And the good thing is it provides a different perspective, right? This is what I'm going through. And they're like, oh, yes, I've been in business. And when I had this challenge, this is how I overcome it, right? So that's the beauty of the growth group. And then we also partner you with a business advisor. We have 2 outstanding gentlemen, Ernest and Michael. I think Ernest has a background in IT, business support, business operations, and Michael is pretty much a lawyer, right? He is a practicing lawyer, and they work with you one-on-one with your business. So you are surrounded with education, hundreds of hours of education in those 12 weeks in order for you to scale your business. What type of business? All businesses, right? Brick and mortar, virtual, tech, healthcare, of course, consulting/professional services, education. We work with all businesses, all industries. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. This is our website. I'm easy to find. You can email me. I'm sure there's an email address. I check all the emails. And then, of course, on LinkedIn. But I'm always glad to answer any questions.
And this program has graduated 1,000 small businesses in Houston, and the program is free to any small business owner that applies and gets in. 1,000. Yep.
And I have one more thing. So 1,000 locally, 14,500 national. We have a very, very robust alumni program, whether it's on the local or the national level. I think one of the beauties about this team, this department, one of my best friends is Tiffany Williams of Twice Media Productions. She's been in business for 10 years, and I met her literally 10 years ago. And I helped her with her marketing plan, and then she was in the business plan competition. Did she win? I think
she got 3rd place.
She got 3rd place, okay.
She's an advisor in the competition, and she sponsored it before.
And she's gone through the Goldman Sachs program as well, right? So when we talk about pipeline, ecosystem, community, resources, the testimonies are here, right? Whether it's from us as the directors, the leaders of the programs, but even our students, our alumni that have gone through the program, and they're in the community, they're working on your projects. You probably know them.
Probably.
You probably know them. Yeah.
We also nominate people for awards, alumni for awards. We nominated her for an award, and she won one last year from the SBA. So it's a lot of fun. It's an ecosystem, and we surround you with entrepreneurial support.
So any questions?
How many people applied to this? Is it a competition or to the program?
How many applied to the Goldman Sachs program?
So Goldman Sachs is different. We do offer it 3 times a year, so we get anywhere from 150 to 200 applications, and then it is a system, it is a process, and then we take about 20 to 30 people. What about the
with our business plan competition? Sometimes you've got a 1 in 3 chance to get in, so people do come back and apply again. So, like for instance, if you're a growth entrepreneur, you can apply for both of our programs, and if you don't get into one, you just apply again next year. So it's not a guarantee that you get in because they are known and they're very popular, and sometimes it takes a little while to get in. But we're here for the journey, year after year after year.
I think we were talking about there's a criteria. Well, what about those who are out there? They don't meet any of those. I know. I think I heard someone say we don't turn them away. We help them. But what about those who are afraid? Don't really know. They come walking in on the campus. How do you engage them?
Well, they're welcome.
How do you?
Right. They're welcome to participate in any and all of our workshops, our seminars, the Small Business Success Series. That is open to anyone.
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely.
And we do have other resource partners we use. SBA Score is one referral, the University of Houston, SBDC, an Apex program. If they specifically want to, work with Metro has a Small Business U, which is, internally a free program to small business. So we just educate them on the plethora of small business programs in Houston, that's out there.
And one of the programs we did not mention, we have a program in Spanish that we offer at the Mexican Consulate. It's our Small Business Success Series. We were able to translate it, and so we have services in Spanish.
So
and
in our
where are you, Corolla? She's that program. She's sitting right back there. She actually welcomes the class. She's bilingual. She's there every Friday.
And if I could add just to that point, Houston's the only city in the country, I'll work backwards, has a great graduate level program at Rice for entrepreneurship. Has a great undergrad program, top class, Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship, University of Houston. And has HCC that has won nationally from NACE, North American Community Colleges for Entrepreneurship, as the #1 college for offering entrepreneurship. And we do a lot of our work outside of the classroom. To answer your question, sir, not enough people sign up. I think our challenge is we need more folks, more resources to bring this up even more. We're doing great. Rockstar over here with $192 million of contract work every year. But I think we still should do more. Our city deserves more. We're very entrepreneurial.
Just to butt in right there, Ronnie and I talked about this. It's like when you're talking about Greater Houston, you're talking about the graduate program, right? It's the undergraduate program. And then what you have here at HCC, no other
City has that. No,
Thank you.
No Babson, no Harvard, no Wharton. I mean, we love them. We love Rice, but at the same time, you want impact. We're going to have to do it here. Huh?
All of our programs.
Free. Yeah, it's free because it's been sponsored or through a lot of the fundraising grant writing that Dr. Drenova does to bring that federal dollar here in Houston.
So,
being 4th largest, we ought to have more. Just no option.
if you're in the college credit track, it doesn't mean that you can't pop in on some of ours. Ours are like smaller chunks instead of longer series, right? I mean, we have series, but they're like 30 hours for the Small Business Success Series, about 30 hours for a business plan competition, 100 hours for Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. So in our center alone is just surpassed the milestone of 20,000 in attendance just since 2016 for the different programs that we offer, not only the series, but the individual events. I did skip 2 slides at the end, but we also do like lender bar matchups. We do digital marketing clinics. We do summits. We collaborate with each other. So there's a lot for you to access, and you can choose what works best for you. You know, we have virtual, we have on-site, we have daytime, Saturdays and weekends. So you just get on our email list and keep watching and pop in.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think I think this is great. So thank you, Seed and Growth, for the information. I think that just being on the front line of working with students and the public, I think probably the greatest challenge is locating you and finding where you're at, right? And making that connection and putting something in students' hands, or being more visible on the campus, so that when we have people that are coming, they're like, oh, I didn't know HCC offers this.
Yeah, I know.
And so you being way at A-League, and then Robbie, I don't know where you're at. And so if we can maybe get some literature that we can include in our marketing on campus, I think that would help.
Okay.
And then I think my question I'll end with is like, how do you market? So do you have to have a small business? And when you stumble across the information, how do you typically inform people about this free service?
We do a lot through newsletters and really getting that out. So we just need to add more. The other thing is getting additional centers for entrepreneurship. That's in the strategic plan, but it's right now sitting with administration to fund those positions for Central and Northeast.
Yeah.
Then we'll have one for each college.
That would be really great. Yeah. We can guide traffic your way.
So talk to Dr. Siddiqui and encourage him to put it in his budget.
Yeah.
I have to say,
our Center for Entrepreneurship, the stuff that we offer, we have faculty come into it as well. Anyone who's got a side gig or is working on something on the side that maybe someday you're going to launch bigger, or you're just going to do it on the side, we're there for that too.
Yes.
The Vanity link is on the top there, hccs.edu/smallbusiness. It goes to a landing page that has all of the programs that Dr. Donovo runs, which includes the 3 centers, hopefully 4 or 5 or 6 as Houston's needing it, and then also has the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses, as well as the MBDA.
I'd just like to add that we do have a strong referral service that keeps people coming. So it's not like we're waiting. We just really need to be more cohesive and present. So we might look into an AI program.
Nice link.
Yes. So, hey, yeah.
So you can see what an amazing team this is.
I know for me, I'm always in the community. Yesterday I was at an SBA event at Emancipation Park. I go to about 2 to 3, maybe 4 events a week all over Houston. But I would love to come to campus, right? So that's not a problem. Just tell me where you are. I'm glad. I'll email you material. I'll come drop off material. I'll come talk to the class, because kids/students these days are amazing when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I mean, even for the adults, when they're like, "Oh, I just started, I'm not ready," I'm like, Goldman Sachs is a program to look forward to, right? This is something to put in your strategic growth plan. This is, these are milestones. All of these programs are milestones. These are things to consider, right? So even if you started today, you're like, I want to tap into this network over here. What do I need to do? How can I build my business up in the next 2 years or a year or less to qualify for this program? And then you can go get a contract, and then you can become a business advisor, right? So definitely don't be discouraged. You're going to build yourself up and just tap in along the way.
Okay. You're not alone.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
we're on time
Oh, yay! With a fire alarm.
to introduce your next section, which is focused on impact. We've got Black History Resource Fair in Learning Hub, also known as WW Harmon. And Dr. Welcome can tell you more or lead you there.
I will lead you there.
Okay, all right. Again, don't forget, I've got actually 2 student projects, okay? Marco, if you want to just pull a table for me, sir, and we need at least 5 people to give them feedback for their project. This is part of their customer validation and customer discovery. All you have to do is give them advice, okay? Listen to their projects. Thank you so much.